Welcome to Anime Out of Context, a comedy review show hosted by a basement dweller who grew up scrounging terrible fan subs on sketchy websites prior to the convenience of modern streaming, alongside a willfully ignorant soul whose only knowledge of anime comes from the shows forced upon him here. This show will contain spoilers, incorrect information, and copious amounts of adult language. Our hosts are not experts on any topic, and everything they say should be taken with a grain of salt. Thank you for listening, and enjoy.
Hello and welcome to Anime Out of Context, the show where I attempt to explain the sometimes weird, sometimes wonderful, but always hilarious world of anime.
And I'm giving out free Kool-Aid, limited time only.
I'm Shaun Rollins.
I'm Remington Chase.
Jesus Christ, Remington. Way to earn the explicit tag within the first couple seconds.
I didn't do anything.
You know, sure. Let's go with that. If you don't know, then you don't know. That's fine. But hey, Rem. I know you're hurting. I know what happened last week was rough. Have you made any steps to recover at all? Have you taken some
time?
No.
No?
No. You've been letting it fester, have you?
Yes. My life has been ruined for the past week.
I am so sorry.
I've largely just been in the corner of my room, sometimes in the fetal position, sometimes not, sometimes just collapsed, you know.
Well, Rem, tell you what, to make up for last week, I've got something for you.
Okay.
Unfortunately, it is an anime.
Already off on the wrong step, if I'm being honest.
I'm sorry, but we've got a commitment at this point, Rem. But I have what a lot of we've gotten a lot of recommendations for this, especially since second season for it has recently been airing. And people want to hear your thought process on it, as it is, according to a lot of people, a very intellectual show.
Sure.
And we all know how much you love breaking down cultish behavior and or dystopian systems and nightmares.
Yeah.
So what if I were to tell you I had a story for you about a elite institution that so heavily criticizes and judges their kids that there is a non-zero possibility of them starving to death.
All right, we're keeping the mood light.
Yes,
I
see. Gotta keep things on the upbeat flow. Because Remington, what I have for you today is a little show called Classroom of the Elite.
Okay, this is one that's been recommended a lot.
Yes.
I know nothing about it, but it's one of those names that I can't miss.
Yeah, we've gotten a lot of recommendations for it. A lot of people saying like, hey, this Remington guy's pretty fucking smart. That means this show that's all about smart people and trying to get themselves out of shitty situations is probably the perfect show for him, right? And it's got a lot of people who are pieces of shit as well. Like on
And
purpose.
now I gotta figure out, are they overestimating me or overestimating the show?
Well, Rem, you nailed it in one. That's why we have a podcast. That's what we're here to find out together. And the premise of the show is pretty straightforward, all things considered. The basic premise is, Rem, we've got a very fancy school called Kodo Ikusei Senior High School, and it is quite frankly described as a utopia. The best of the best gather there, and anybody who attends this elite institution is 100% guaranteed to have a lucrative professional life and career just because they attended and graduated this school.
Okay, so what's the deal? Do they have purge rules? It's like, oh, utopia, however, one day a year.
You think they just like, well, one day you gotta kill your best friend type of thing. Is that what you think we're going for here?
I'm expecting some similar style of twist here, yes.
Okay. Well, it's not as simple as like one day a year everybody is going to be purged off the face of the earth. That's not, like, that's been done in America. And you don't want to do that. Because, also, I'm going to say it right here, I am sure you 100% agree with me, Rem. The Purge movies are some of the stupidest fucking movies ever, right?
I wouldn't know.
Trust me, Rem. They're pretty fucking stupid.
I've not heard good things. It very much seems, and I could be wrong because once again I haven't seen it, but they seem to fall into the category that I've talked about many times on the podcast of only successful because of an interesting premise, and not at all anything to do with execution.
Yeah, no, like, they capitalize on the very nihilistic view of, hey, people are evil, and if you give them a chance to be evil for free, they'll do that kind of thing.
Yep.
And maybe there's some themes of that in this show. It's hard to say. Could be anything. But no, this is a very powerful elite institution, and the better you do in class, the better, like, rewards and such you get during the school year and time. And since this is such an elite institution, the school actually has its own currency system.
Okay. I've seen. Okay. Yep.
Yep. And students are given a stipend of currency that they can use to buy real world goods and services, because there's a conversion there. And at the end of the month, they theoretically are going to get that stipend back.
Now, at the end of the first episode, does one of them get eaten by an unholy demonic monstrosity?
Well, Rem, that would be spoilers. I can't allude to whether or not there are any strange demonic tentacle monsters of any flavor. But this story is about Class D, which is unfortunately the class with the most problem children in this elite institution.
All the fuck-ups.
Yes, because you gotta put them somewhere, because while you consider your school an elite institution, kids are stupid in some regard, so there are gonna be at least one or two fuck-ups. Might as well group them all together, right?
Okay.
And it is quickly revealed to them that, hey, yeah, you were given this large amount of points to use to buy stuff at the beginning of the month, and it's now the end of the month, and a lot of you guys really blew through it. Here's the thing, though. Y'all are really shit at school and life in general, so you're not getting any points this month. Figure it out, fuckers.
Okay.
And literally, the rest of the show is the whole premise of the class working together and against each other, trying to do what they can to get enough points to actually survive. Otherwise, there is a strong possibility they will just starve to death, since they're kind of cut off from the rest of society.
All right, bit of a convoluted setup, if I'm being honest.
Yeah. Long story short, fancy school, currency, peer-reviewed.
I will say, it very much seems like this show, its target audience is disenchanted and disillusioned gifted kids, gifted slackers, where it's like, hey, look, these kids, but they're misfits, but if they're smart about it, then they can get a one-up on everybody else and shit like that. That seems like the vibe I'm already getting.
So you're saying like the one kid in class who read a little bit of Nietzsche and was like, yeah, I understand everything now.
Yes, I'm describing 13-year-old Remington here as the target audience of this show.
Well, shit, Rem. Maybe this is exactly your kind of show then. It's hard to
say. Then again, I will say, 13-year-old Remington's anime tastes, namely Death Note, did hold up, surprisingly.
Yeah.
So who knows? Maybe me saying that 13-year-old Remington would love this, it's a good sign for what's to come.
Who knows, Rem? Who knows? Well, this 2017 anime has been recommended to us loads of times, especially since the second season dropped, so I figured it would be a good chance to jump right into it and see if it's well worth the hype that people have thrown at it. So without further ado, Rem, I think we should just go straight into it. Let's go watch some Classroom of the Elite.
I'm amazed I can hear these monologues from how far up their own ass they're speaking them.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are back after watching 5 whole episodes of 2017's Yokoso Jitsuryoko Shijo Shugi no Kyoshitsue, or, much simpler, Classroom of the Elite. Now, Remington, is this truly what 13-year-old Remington would have jived with, or is this worse than you could have possibly imagined?
Am I getting fucking pranked? It's all just a good old joke.
Pardon? I don't know what you're talking about, Rem. I'm just going off of what was recommended to us in emails.
Shaun?
Yeah, what's up, Rem? What's up?
So there's 2 things that you said.
Yes.
In part 1.
Yes.
And I just want to see if those statements, if they were blatant lies or not.
Okay, Rem.
Because, oh boy. First of all, when people recommended this, did they think I would like it?
Well, a large amount of people did say that you would.
Well, follow-up question. Do people think this is a smart, intelligent show?
Well, there are definitely some people who do, Rem.
They're just like, oh, it opens up with the Nietzsche quote. There we go, it's smart. That's how it goes.
What? Nietzsche's?
Opens up with a monologue all about how people aren't equal. It's a true meritocracy. Wow, look how intelligent. They're like, is that all it takes?
Unfortunately, for some people, it does, Rem. Unfortunately, for some people, it does.
Oh, fuck. Shaun, about 50 episodes ago, almost 1 year ago,
Yep.
you forced me to play what is quite probably the single worst gaming experience I've ever had with Danganronpa Trigger Happy Havoc.
Yes.
I know that has an anime adaptation,
Mm-hmm.
but also this is another anime adaptation of that. It has the exact same personality, just less murder, I guess. But that's it. They are just as pretentious, just as up their own ass, and just as bland as fuck.
Oh, goodness. Yeah, no, I just re-scrolled through all of our email recommendations on this particular one, and they're like, hey, I like this show. Rem should like it too.
Yeah, nope. So Classroom of the Elite is a bad show.
Oh, wait.
Let's talk about why.
One person said, Rem will despise this show, so you got one. You got one.
Oh, they know. Whoever sent that email, you know me. You know me. So we open up with a Nietzsche quote all about how like weakness is evil and blah 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 blah. Some shit like that. And then a big monologue all about how equality, people aren't really equal and things are true meritocracy. Now here's the weird thing.
Okay.
So right now we have the protagonist giving a monologue all about how life is a meritocracy.
Yes.
Right.
Yes, that is correct.
Then later, the show, the school, the big old school, they'll have a similar rant about how it's a meritocracy.
Yes.
Right. Now, I feel like any proper show that's trying to be intelligent would recognize how the school is so blatantly not a meritocracy, it's like not even close. So to pretend it is, it's silly. It's silly to do so. That doesn't mean the school can't describe itself as such, but no one else should think of it as such. But when this philosophy is also reinforced by your protagonist, it sort of seems like that's what you think the show is about. And that's not what the show is about?
Well, what is the show
At all.
about, Rem?
Great question, Shaun. Maybe we'll figure out. So there's some bullshit drama on the bus on the way there. It doesn't matter. Our protagonist arrives at school. His name is Ayana Koji. So Ayana Koji, he gets there. We get some exposition dump. Then we meet Suzune. Suzune, she's a loner type. She hates everybody, and she's real condescending. She's better than everybody, and she's an independent loner. She's a shitty character. You've seen this character a million times. It's just as bad. I almost forgot to describe the protagonist, Ayana Koji. So he's the protagonist. Moving on. To give a little bit more detail about him, he describes himself as having no interests or hobbies or passions or friends. He doesn't care about anything. But he is a super genius. And I think they're trying to go for like, oh, he seems ordinary, but actually he's a super genius. But like, all of the characters that interact with him basically know that he's a super genius.
Mm-hmm.
So that bit of his character just doesn't work out. And the only other element of his character is being a boring jackass. So I don't... What am I supposed to do with this, Shaun?
Oh, man. Like, I think they want you to like him. I'm not certain, though. I'm not...
No, okay. We all know why it's a bland bitch protagonist so that we can pretend we are him, all right? We don't need to like him. We just need to be like, oh man, that's just like me. I'm also an ordinary dude who's secretly wicked smart or talented in these other ways, but people always underestimate me. Man, what an inspiration. Shut the fuck up. With all due respect, shut the fuck up. Anybody who has watched Classroom of the Elite, as an adult, if you're a child, you have time to grow. You have time to get out of this. But as an adult, if you've watched Classroom of the Elite and you're like, man, I'm so much like Ayana Koji, please get an iota of self-awareness about you. Please introspect just a little bit. Just a little bit is all I ask.
Or sign up for therapy, because that might at least help you get you there.
Oh, hopefully. You know what it reminds me a lot of, Shaun?
What's that, Rem?
So in high school, right? I remember when I ended up taking the ACT score, right? Which is meaningless to me because I didn't give a shit about it. But nonetheless, my score was pretty decent, and it created a surprising amount of buzz, which I still don't understand to this day. And so it was discussed amongst many other people, and a lot of people had this sort of revelation of like, oh wow, okay, he's smarter than we thought, which I don't really care about because it's just not. I'm confident in myself. I don't need others to give much of a shit, right? But there's this one guy who, before this, we had never really interacted. We'd never talked and stuff, probably because he thought I was below him. But then he hears about my test scores. And so he starts up a conversation. He starts up a conversation with me all about how people are so stupid and dumb and how annoying it can be when you have to deal with the stupid people, right? And he was like, yeah, you understand what I mean, right? And I was like, no, no, this is not how I see the world. But this show was meant for people like him.
Okay.
People who think, oh no, all the stupid people around me. That's not how any of this shit works.
Hey, Rem.
Yeah.
It's okay because now you have a podcast with him.
Surprisingly, it was not Shaun. No,
it was not me.
It would have been great. It would have been great.
I cannot emphasize enough how that was so fucking not me.
I would have loved to be telling a story about Shaun to Shaun.
That would have been great. That would have been fucking hilarious. But like, if you weren't gonna make the joke, I had to. So
Yes, it was a good one.
Yeah.
Oddly, it was a mutual acquaintance though.
We'll have to talk about this afterwards because I think I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, and it was just like the people who view themselves as so above others. Y'all, humanity doesn't work on some objective hierarchy, all right? Just because you're good at athletics doesn't mean you're better than everybody else. Just because you have higher test scores doesn't mean you're better than anybody else. It's just not how these things work, y'all. And don't get me wrong, you can be proud of all of these accomplishments. You can be pleased at what you excel at. I encourage people to feel good about their performance in whatever sphere that may be in. But achieving excellence, right? And feeling satisfaction about that, both of those are different than feeling superior or above others. And that's when problems start to arise. But the latter is where this show completely is. Like, this show, it wants to make you feel like you're very smart for watching it, but also it will treat you like a dumbass. It does. It doesn't make intelligent or subtle choices, right? But it tries to make you think it does.
Interesting.
We'll get into a couple of those. All of this, we've hardly gotten into the show itself, but hopefully by now you get a good impression of my feelings on the show.
Oh, yeah, no, like, Rem, a lot of people in the request emails were like, hey, can you break down what the fuck this show is trying to say? And one email was like, hey, I think this show has a lot of really stupid stuff in it, and I want you to explain why. So, you know what?
Hell yes.
This is your chance, Rem.
Continuing on, we meet the class of 1D, and by meeting them, we get introduction to a few characters, one of which seems like he's going to be important, and then has yet to do anything. Like, he's one of the only characters to be introduced by name and given a description, and we just don't interact with him in the 5 episodes I watched.
Hey, Rem, that's only half the first season.
Oh, God. Anyway, the homeroom teacher's like, hey, here are rules, but also you don't get to know the rules. They pass out the rules, but later on, they're going to talk about how it's going to be a very big deal that they don't know the rules. So I don't know what the fuck is going on. We'll get to that nonsense when we get to it, but keep that in mind. Then we meet sort of our third most important character, Kikyo? Shaun, pronounce it for me.
Kikyo.
Kikyo. All right, so we meet Kikyo, who's bright, bubbly, and she's got big boobs. It's really important that you know she has big bouncing boobs, because, man, that camera will constantly pan to her big boobs. Jesus Christ. It's an intellectual show, guys. What can I say? Real highbrow. Kikyo wants to be friends with Suzune, so she works with Ayana Koji to make something happen. Suzune sees through their plan, isn't interested in friendship, so that doesn't happen. We see some exposition on how kids are spending their money before, at the end, they all realize they got no points for this month. What the fuck is going on? And the teacher's like, yeah, dumb fucks, you all fucking suck, so you get 0 points, cause this is a meritocracy. Ha ha. And they're like, hey, shouldn't you have, like, told us the rules? And as we go into episode 2, shouldn't you have, like, informed us what's going on? And she's like, you gotta figure it out. In the real world, you're expected to know your job before you do it. And it's like, yeah, because you're told what the job is beforehand. You don't, like, apply to a job, and then they're like, you're hired. All right, get started. And then you're like, what am I doing? And they're like, good luck, fucker. What? No, that's not how the real world works at all. Plus, I really want to emphasize, they were given the rule book. What's going on?
Well, Rem, it's not just what's in the rule book that they're being judged on. They're being judged on so many other things as well.
But if they don't know what they are judged on, then it's just the whims and fancies of the system itself. Furthermore, let me complain. They make a big deal that this school, it has like 100% acceptance rate at like colleges and employment and shit like that, right? But they apparently are really eager to expel the shitty students. So it's like, okay, yeah, you have 100% success rate if you expel any of the failures. I guess so. I guess if that's how you handle things.
It sounds like a plan to me, Rem. I don't see what the issue is.
If you attend this school, you will succeed or be expelled. You know, and so 100% success rate, except for if you're expelled, like, sort of makes it a less meaningful metric, doesn't it?
Oh, I don't know what you're talking about, Rem. I see that 100% success rate, and I think to myself, you know what? There's something good going on here.
Oh, it's so dumb. All right, so their midterms are coming up. If anybody fails the midterms, they're gonna get expelled. Meaningless shit. Okay, so there's a study group, but a couple of the slackers don't want to join the study group, which also it's a question, how did they get into this school in the first place if this is supposed to be a super duper prestigious school? A couple of these people are below average. Like, just academically, they are objectively below average. So how'd they get in this super prestigious school? And this school, it also mentions, it talks about how Class D has never managed to advance. They've never managed to go up in their rank or whatever. And that Class D is just always a failure and disappointment. Why have a Class D? Why not limit your recruiting into the school a little bit? Clearly,
well,
if a fourth of all of your students are not living up to your very, very high standards consistently forever. What the fuck are you doing?
Oh, it's obvious, Rem. You gotta have some really shitty people so that the elite students can lord over them. It's practice,
but don't
you
worry,
see.
they have 100% success rate.
Yeah. I don't know what you're not getting, Rem. That seems pretty straightforward to me.
Lose it, dude. Oh my god. Also, shitty teaching, may I add. We see a glimpse into the teaching once, and it's basically, well, we see two teachers. One is just an alcoholic, not teaching at all. And then the other one that we see is basically just reading from Wikipedia? What? Guys, I see why they're failing if they have a teacher like that.
But
God,
really,
I'm
Rem,
losing
it's
my
their
shit.
fault. It's their fault for not, really learning and understanding. Clearly,
At
the
one point, the
students'
teacher,
their fault.
when they're calling Class D trash, it's like, oh, really, you all are so stupid. You think we would just give kids a bunch of money to spend and stuff? No, you need to learn responsibility. But it's like, yeah, they did just do that. And if they're just kids who don't know how to spend money, then why are you, one, depriving them of any money now? And then two, why did you give them so much in the first place? Further, if you judge things based purely on a meritocracy, right? You have Pseudo, who's the main slacker. He's apparently really good at basketball and shit. But those merits don't count? Though they're just completely not a factor. But then other merits, like being cunning and stuff and being able to negotiate, are rewarded? It's almost like it's not a fucking meritocracy, which would be fine if the show was all about this systemic critique about how it isn't a meritocracy, but the show thinks it is. The show believes it is. Fuck.
Right.
The show is Danganronpa, but only the pretentious bits, which is not.
Which is all the
Those are
parts you
all-
hated.
Yeah, they were already some of the worst parts of a very bad game. So, holy shit, dude. The show will have monologues all the time where it thinks, oh man, like, I'm amazed I can hear these monologues from how far up their own ass they're speaking them. Like, it is abysmal. Anyway, blah, 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 study group, there's drama. Suzune is a complete bitch about everything to everyone. Cool. Then we get to the midterms, and everyone passes. It says everyone passes, and then at the start of episode 3, it's like, oh, but not everybody. When we said everyone passed the test, when everyone except one. So, and so we see that in episode 3, they were able to get the questions from a previous year, which are the same questions now, so questions and answers. And they hand them out to everybody. And then Pseudo still only gets a 39%? Yo, if you are given the answers and you only get a 39%, I don't know what to tell you, bro. You don't belong in this school. You deserve a proper education. I don't think you belong at this school, though. And then all the characters are like, no, we can't let him get expelled, as if any of us, including the audience, gives a shit about Pseudo. Like, Pseudo's just been a mean jackass this whole time. We've seen nothing else. There's no reason for anybody to care. Sometimes they're like, oh, but maybe if someone gets expelled from our class, then we'll be punished for it or something. And it's like, yeah, I suppose we can't know. So I guess we will. Though then again, maybe them getting expelled would up the grade point average, which would be helpful. I guess we can't know, but let's just ignore that and just use it for plot relevance, I suppose. Anyway, so he missed out by 1 point, and so he's gonna get expelled. But then our protagonist, Ayana Koji, he approaches the teacher and is like, hey, what if I spent my points on getting him the 1 point he needs to pass? And the teacher's like, all right, but it'll be expensive, more points than you have. And then Suzune shows up and she's like, yeah, I'll contribute too. And it's like, oh my god, Suzune actually cares. Crazy. And then they spend 100,000 credits. But I'm pretty sure, I could be wrong, I'm pretty sure that we get a glimpse of the credits later and they don't get more, but like they definitely didn't spend all those points. Like there's some weird inconsistencies with the credits. I don't know what's going on.
Wait, Rem, you're saying the show has inconsistencies?
Almost like it's a bad show. Anyway, so Pseudo is saved. Yay! All right. They all celebrate and stuff. Kikyo is a little bit jealous of Suzune and is wondering. She's like, "Hey, Ayana Koji, is she like your type? I'm just wondering." And she's like, "Okay, never mind, bye." But she leaves her phone there, so he grabs her phone and he follows her out. She goes like to the beach late at night, where, oh man, in a crazy twist that I definitely didn't predict in the first episode, she goes crazy, saying all sorts of terrible things about Suzune and how much she hates her, where so far we've only seen her be bubbly. And then she sees that Ayana Koji caught her, and she's like, "Don't tell a soul. If you do, then I'll tell people you raped me, and I'll have evidence." And she grabs his hand and puts it on her boob. She's like, "I'll have the fingerprints on the uniform as proof." We all can see how many levels of stupid this is, right? I don't need to get into it. Cool.
What? Fingerprints on boob? Yeah, that's definitely gonna hold up in court, buddy.
And it's like, also, it was just another, like, obviously she's gonna go crazy. I think towards the end of episode 1, I just put, when is she gonna go crazy? Because it was just obvious, and she's going to be like the main antagonist. I imagine, like, towards the end she'll try to fuck shit up, but then they'll stop her at the end or some shit.
Ram, buddy. You're putting too much thought into it. I don't want. Look,
I'm giving it too much credit then.
Yeah, no, it's if there's any antagonists in this series, like any quote unquote main antagonists, it's probably not any of the people in class. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, I mean, you got the president who's gonna be an antagonist. You do have the pretty boy in Class D who's also eventually going to fuck shit up.
Right.
You have the gang leader in Class C. Let's see, any other main antagonists? No, those are like, there we go. I pointed out all of the antagonists. Anyway, moving on, we get to episode 4. We meet a new character who doesn't matter. And then episode 4 and 5 are all about Pseudo getting in trouble because allegedly he beat up a bunch of Class C people. And he's claiming, no, they tried to jump me, and it was self-defense and whatnot, right? I got framed. And they get evidence, they find a witness. For a while they're like, oh man, I hope there's a witness. And the very obvious person they panned to that we've never seen before, but the camera panned directly to them when talking about the fight. It turns out they saw something. Who'da thunk it? But they're nervous to become a witness because the camera they took a photo of the confrontation on is also where they take all of their lewd photos. Oh no. And for some reason, when giving the evidence, they also hand over all of the lewd photos. I don't know why.
Ram, you gotta understand, man. You can't just, like, film is so complicated. Like, you gotta actually develop it and change it.
Well, it's an SD card.
Oh.
So
it's a digital camera.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So there's really no reason he should have given over the lewd photos.
Yeah, you could have just sent the one file, the relevant one.
Yeah.
The only relevant photo. Not that, like, you'd think there'd be some, like, outburst or anything, but they show all the lewd photos and no one gives a shit. They, like, build it up and no one cares.
Wow.
And then they're also just like, the photo doesn't mean anything. Like, the actual relevant photo. And then he's like, witness doesn't actually matter. So what's the fucking point of the past 2 episodes? What the fuck is going on? There's a bunch of other stupid stuff. I'm not even gonna get into it because that would mean I would need to get into the details, and I don't want to do that. Long story short, this show is really bad and really, really dumb, but it has pretentious quotes a lot, and like a lot of pretentious dialogue that isn't actually profound, but if you're a 12-year-old, then maybe this will be the first time you've come across these ideas, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you are in junior high or middle school or whatever equivalent, if you are like 10 to 14, maybe even 15, but we're starting to push it. And you're like, yeah, I vibe with this show. It's so smart. Okay, that's fine. You get a pass. If you're 15 to 18, now's a call for reflection, all right?
Okay.
Time to realize maybe not the best. If you're over 18 and you think this show is real smart and sophisticated and well done, you're too far gone.
You're just giving up on them completely. That's it. They're done.
But if there is any hope, it is you hearing me right now, and there's gonna be some people being like, oh, I thought it was smart, but I haven't seen it in a while. Is it actually real dumb? The things he's saying do sound pretty dumb. And they might go and rewatch it, and then they'll have one of two responses. One will be like, oh yeah, this is way dumber than I remember. Or two, they're a lost cause. That's it. That's the show was awful. I was interested because the premise is a solid one.
Oh yeah.
The premise is really nice.
Yeah.
And the premise, like, if it had intelligence behind it rather than pretension, then it could be an amazing show. It could be so fucking good. But it's not. Oh dear God, no, it is not.
Well, Rem, look, I wasn't lying to you. I will tell you one thing that's probably gonna make you explode a little bit. It's not super relevant, but the studio behind this, God, it's either Lerche or Lurch, one of the two. They are also the studio that did the anime adaptation of Danganronpa.
Oh, that's what I knew it! Fuck you! And you know what? They are the perfect choice. They're the perfect choice, because it's the same fucking picture, dude.
I mean, in defense of the studio, though, they also made Asobi Asobase, so, you know, they have one good thing.
I'm gonna lose my mind.
I'm sorry, but it had to be done. We got a shit ton of recommendations for it. It was topical, and, you know, people specifically wanted you to be like, hey, is this show as smart as people say it is?
No. It's just as dumb as every other power fantasy shonen nonsense we cover. Equally stupid, it just pretends that it isn't.
Oh god, the studio also did Monster Musume.
Fuck, quite the repertoire.
Yeah. Oh, and one more point in their favor is Given. Remember the lovely boy love music anime that you said was okay but had some small problems?
Perfect.
Yeah, aside from that, like, I mean, the other one is Assassination Classroom, and your biggest problem with Assassination Classroom was, like, some of the characters. So, like, you know, not the best repertoire for a studio, if I'm honest. It's got a couple good ones. That's what we're going for. You know, a little bit of good to mix in with all of the things that make you want to rip your hair out, Rem. Isn't that nice? Cleanse the palate a bit. Oh, God, Rem, if you had to guess, what do you think the MAL score for the first season of Classroom of the Elite is?
Fucking hell. It's gonna be way too high. It's gonna be way too high. I'm gonna stop myself from saying 8 point something.
Are you sure?
I will not allow myself. Surely enough weebs have to see through this.
Okay.
Even if plenty of them don't. But a lot of them won't, which is why it's going to be a high 7. 7 point... Just shy of 7.9. I'm going to say 7.8. 7.89.
Se-
No, okay, that's still I still feel dirty saying that. 7.82.
Is that your final answer, Remington?
Yes.
Do you feel good about that answer?
No. I'm hoping you surprise me and you're like 6.8. The weebs hate it.
But I did tell you it got a second season, right?
Oh, fucking hell. Okay, all right.
Well, Classroom of the Elite with 638,000 ratings
Holy fuck.
is sitting quite shockingly at 7.86.
Fucking hell. My weebometer has been on point though.
Yeah, no, you've been narrowing it in pretty fucking close as of late.
I genuinely I don't know how I do it, but I have just gotten much better at the calibration.
Like, you're very used to the way that a lot of people on Mal work, it seems.
I am the voice of the people. I know I can speak for the weebs. I know what the fuck they want, for better or worse.
Yeah. Because, yeah, and the score breakdown on this one is horrendous, by the way. So, I told you about 600,000 ratings, right?
Yep.
The highest margin is 32.7% of them. So 209,000 people slapped an 8 on this show. 19% did a 9, 12% did a 10, and 22% did a 7. So, quite frankly, just barely 10% of all this show's ratings are 6 and below.
Fuck all y'all.
Isn't that buck wild, Rem? Isn't that just fucking insane?
Why?
Look,
Why?
you answered all the questions yourself, my guy. You answered all the questions yourself. Look, man, this is your chance to be the lens of truth, to open up the eyes of all the people who have recommended it to us over the past month and a half since the second season has started. This is your chance to really set the truth of the matter, of the scale of how unfortunate this show is. Because I'll tell you right now, I researched the whole first season, watched the first episode of the second season, and thought to myself, you know, I probably could have stopped at 5 episodes. So I suppose the final question, Rem, the final question that is on everybody's mind: do you, or should anybody, watch Classroom of the Elite ever again?
God, no.
Do you by chance have something else they should watch instead, Rem?
I mean, unfortunately, look, you're looking for something a little bit cerebral, a little bit smarter. Genuinely, the only two anime that come to mind on that front are Death Note, which we've talked about a bunch, as well as Odd Taxi, which we've talked about a bunch. And we've talked about them so much because those are like the intelligent shows. I wish there was more. I wish I could give more diversified recommendations. I was hoping to be able to add one to the list today. I could not.
Well, there's your call to action, folks. If you guys have some very specifically quote-unquote intelligent shows that you want to send us, please do. I'll review them and see what I can do about getting something for Remington to add to his list. Because I think y'all broke him this time. Look at what you've done to the poor lad.
Yep.
Definitely not my fault at all. So with that in mind, thank you all so much for joining us. We really appreciate it. If you enjoyed Remington losing his mind over one of the most poorly constructed smart person shows, then please head on over to wherever you get your podcasts, whether that be Apple Podcasts, Podbean, Stitcher, or Spotify, and leave us a review. They mean the world to us, and we do read every single one. And if that is not enough for you, you can head on over to twitch.tv/animeoutofcontext, where you gain access to myself, Dylan, and Remington occasionally playing video games and theoretically board games in the future if we can figure that out. And if that is still not enough for you, you can head on over to patreon.com/animeoutofcontext to gain access to all kinds of lovely bonus material, including having the opportunity to be thanked live on the podcast. So, Rem, who are we thanking this week?
As always, we would like to send our regards to all of our bland bitch protagonists, as well as our magical girls, who we really appreciate. But moving on, we get to our yandere waifus, who, no matter how adorable they may seem, are actually quite a bit crazy. And on that list, we have Reincarnated as a Toaster Oven That Makes Grilled Cheese, says Misuka, reading the light novel title in disgust. Zombie Stomp 91, Soul Eater's Life. Xanax, Yandere Neko, Why Shaun, Why Fuck Your Sister When You Could Masturbate to Akame ga Kill characters and then watch the show for the first time. Whomstuv, Walk Me Home Gently, Way to Shell, Tyler Worley, Turtley Enough for the Turtle Club, Trenton Farrell, Travis J. Humphrey, Totally God, Tim Westy, The Susanator, The Big Bean, Take My Cheeks, Sonic X, is my favorite anime. Since Overlord is also White Sword Set, I want you to review Bandori next, please. Silent Secondary, Shoujo Addict, who doesn't need help, just more manga to read and anime to watch. Shaun, at this point, you have already compiled the list of anime pun names. You don't... Last week we gave one for them, but technically they were just acknowledging that you probably have a list. They weren't asking for one, technically. But coming up soon. Shaun's hot, throbbing gumdrop buttons. Shaun, read this as Joey Wheeler. Hey, Yugs! Yo, Kim! Fucking hell. Wow, Shaun, it looks like you just have no idea how to, combine both your normal voice and Joey Wheeler's voice. It seems like a real difficult task.
Yeah, not real difficult, alright, bud.
Shaun punished Rem and make him watch Excel World. Shaun told me in secret that frog ass juice was great. School days in Clanid for the feels, Salty Pretzel, Ross Palmer, Rhiannon Williams. Remington, can I book you for a mentalist gig, but it has to be turtle themed? Spicitis? Is that it? Spicitis? Sure.
I'm not coming to help you, bud.
Rem crushes my soul. Rem gave me depression. Rem, are you a smart fellow or a fart smeller? Petition for another round of Rem ranking anime for a very special episode. It won't happen, but boy can dream. No Waifu No Laifu, Nick Harvey, Makeka 7 Hierto, Mexican Gone Freaks, Maya Sazitzi, Matthew Drum Says Dylan's an Angel, Matt O2 Max, Lizzie Anthea, King Rich Rock, Casey Mosley, Cassidy, Just a Traveler, Jax, Jamhands, I, Remington, Emma Kappa, and love to steal everyone's butt balls. I want to feast on your despair. Now give me a cool and interesting anime-related pun name, you Irish fuck.
Congratulations, you are now, Might Guy Fieri the Ninja. Congrats. There you go. There's a pun name.
Fucking hell.
It sucks my soul every time, Remington, because I don't... I usually love puns, but when I'm, specifically asked for something as vague as that, I just can't. I can't.
I want Rem to ruin Darling in the Franks for me. Hunter Davies. Hey, Shaun, say this. Dylan's hot throbbing toes are mighty tasty for my elegant mouth.
Hey.
Glenn Michael Dolan, Fuck Love Foxen Boy. Farmer Weeb's Bad Pickup Line of the Week. Want to ladder the family tree? Fantide, Extreme Cobra. Elite Knight, drink milk to prevent wobbly bones, not a conspiracy. Dickite, Mimicin, Picachurin, Triz, Pentafluorethyl, Trifluorophosphate, also known as FAP, and finally Trans 414 Biz 4 Priadoleth. During the Mood Fan, Crumb Sluts Bakery. Now try our Crumb Guzzlers.
Oh, man. If this episode didn't take enough out of me, I think, some of the Patreon names are really doing it.
Creed 13, Shy 900, Cheese Monkey, Cecilia, First L is Silent, my parents just like watching people struggle, Cage in the House, Brockhard for Geodudes, Blood for the Blood God, Skulls for the Skull Throne, Big Blue Bear Boy, the Melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya, but backwards. And when that final moment came to pass, like Christ, I came riding on an ass. Elise Howard, AJ Tunnels, AJ Honey. And now we go to the Boy Wizard tier, where you get the task you avoided by writing a Patreon name. Chris, you get planning your fiance's B-Day. And here we are at the Boy Wizard tier. Shaun, tell them all what they're going to be receiving this week, you son of a bitch.
Fuck, I was hoping you'd forget.
Oh, it's fucking ingrained. You insulted Morbius last time. I'm so excited to hear what you have that's better.
Well, this week, Remington, everybody is going to get,
Ideally, it should be somewhat relevant to the show we watched.
Yep, it is very relevant. Rem, they're going to get, their very own nonsensical strange college course.
Well, I have already done that one before, Shaun.
Oh shit, you have? Damn it!
Oh yes, I definitely have.
Fuck! Shit! It's okay then. God damn it. Well, this is gonna be a long recording while I try and figure this shit out.
Almost like it's not that easy.
I make one joke one episode and I'm suffering for it. Ah, dear. They're going to get their very own extremely pessimistic quote. Does that work? I feel like that works.
I gotta say that seems like something I would be better in the Joey Wheeler tier, since you could have someone say that in a Joey Wheeler voice, Sean. But hey, if you have something else planned for the Joey Wheeler tier...
Wait, no, I have to do both?
Of course, Sean.
No, I thought it was just the one. Oh, fuck. I'm not emotionally prepared for this. Okay, that just gave me the suicide hotline number. That's not helpful. The amount of times that has popped up when I'm trying to do a list for a bit is kind of concerning. Oh, fuck. Sure thing. So I guess this tier is going to get a interactive classroom idea that is, to me personally, looks incredibly painful to do.
Perfect, Sean.
Because I'll be real with you, like, if a teacher told me to do this, I'd be like, I think I'd rather go home.
Well, we start with Yu Yu Hakusho is the best tournament arc anime.
And they get just good old-fashioned group brainstorming sessions.
Fucking hell. What decent rum or whiskey does Shaun or Dylan recommend? Also get Soul Eater, y'all.
Oh man, you get to host a game show.
Warning, you're 799 episodes away.
Man. Have you ever thought about bringing a historical character to life?
Vincent Calabrese.
How about you just compare what you're learning to examples from entertainment industries?
The taller the chef's hat, the greater the chef. Fools, who said I was a chef?
This seems fucked up, but I suppose it's in the theme. How about you create an entry ticket system that if you want your kids to come into your classroom, you have to actually force them to answer a question, otherwise they can't participate.
What the fuck? Alright, the Great Butt Ball of Despair.
And similarly, you get the exit tickets. If they want to be able to leave, you gotta give them a quiz question. Holy shit.
Just trap them there overnight. Shaun, you are my idol, and just like you, I will also stand behind Rem and slap that body.
Why don't you do improvisation activities? This feels like it's calling us out a little bit.
Wrap these to the finish.
Oh man, you should do some jigsaw problem solving. What?
Not to be confused with jigsaw problem solving, which is a lot more murderous.
Well, I mean, is it really murder if it's their own actions that get them killed, Rem?
If you set them up in such a scenario that required such, yeah.
I feel like that remains to be seen.
If you set up a booby trap and put someone right in front of the booby trap, yes, you've killed them.
I don't know,
please
Rem.
watch Healer Girl, a cute slice of life about using music to heal people. Also, Rem is still a girl.
Why don't you try the quote-unquote optimist-pessimist activity?
Okay. My Afro ate my dog.
Why don't you just do some peer review sessions? That seems like a great way to do classroom stuff.
Momo the Griff.
Hey, if you're a teacher, make the students do it. Do a student-led review and lesson.
I've actually taught a few of my high school classes. Mike wants an Overlord review.
That's not a good thing, Rem.
Yeah. Oh no, it was because the teachers were bad.
Yeah, no, that's why it's not a good thing. Oh man, my favorite thing to get kids to shut up. Free writing sessions. Why don't you just make them write a bunch of stuff for no real reason?
Was that Miguel or is this Miguel? Shit.
I think that was Miguel.
All right, Miguel. Hopefully that was you already. Maitawa says first 3 arcs of Bakemonogatari is just 8 episodes.
How about you do some puzzles, but offer them a prize as well?
Ooh, prize puzzles. Latinos eats death and wants more bullshit rules for breakfast.
Make them do an elevator pitch about what they're about to learn.
What they're about to learn? They don't know it yet.
Yeah, no, literally, it's like, hey, come up with a elevator pitch on your current lessons. I'm like, I'm sorry?
Inuyasha's my favorite cryptid.
Make them do some concept drawing about the lesson.
Maybe. Hey, Rem, do a backflip.
Wow, what a great backflip, Rem. That was impressive.
You're welcome.
Even better than concept drawing. How about concept acting?
Skeptical that would work, but okay.
No, it really wouldn't. This is like a sentence. I don't understand what they're trying to get out of this.
Go ahead, call the cops. It won't silence the voices. They're getting louder. Send help, please.
Okay, this is the most strange one yet. How about you Skype with other classrooms?
Why?
I
Crimson
don't
Reapers,
know.
just because of the sides.
You'll love this one, Rem. This is for the real smart people. Hey kids, predict what we're learning next.
What the fuck? How about you make a fucking syllabus? Instead of predicting, why don't you tell us so that we can be ready for the next lesson? Beethoven 1201.
All right, here's a teaching brainstorm. Hey kids, what do you want me to teach you?
Fuck, the ginger Irish fox ate a bowl of shit on stream again. What a mockery of a tax collector.
What the fuck? Okay, the more I go down this list, the more concerned I am. Because it's on fucking canvas.com. Okay, how about a question roulette? Have all your kids write a question, and then just throw them all into a test so you don't have to write your own tests.
Jesus Christ. Anime girl.
Go on a field trip, because you can just do that. As a class activity.
And last but not least on this tier, we have Aaron Hegland.
Well, the last one I have on this list is roll the dice? Want your
What?
students to take a gamble on learning?
No, I don't want them to take a gamble on learning. I just want them to learn, dude.
Choose 12 classroom activities and assign a number 1 through 12. 12? What? So a D12, I guess. A D12. Okay, yeah, sure.
I guess 2d6, but then you wouldn't have the 1.
Yeah, no, so it'd have to be a D12. And then have a student roll the dice. Whatever number they roll, the class does the corresponding activity. That seems like a bad idea when it comes to education.
Yeah. Nonetheless, we move on to the inappropriate Joey Wheeler tier. I mean, you basically set yourself up for which one to do on this one.
Yeah,
Sean.
nope. Which they're going to get incredibly pessimistic quotes.
You could get more pretentious and have it be pessimistic philosophy quotes.
I mean, that's what most of these are.
Fair enough. All right. We start with trans wizard Harriet Porber and the bad boy Parasolopus.
Let's see. An idealist focuses only on all the best aspects of things. An optimist strives to find an effective solution. A pessimist seems to limited or no choices in dark times. An optimist makes choices. Hey, that's actually kind of an optimistic quote. I don't know what you're trying to pull list. What are you trying
Oh wait,
to
and
pull?
what do these quotes mean for them, Sean?
What do they mean for them? What these pessimistic quotes mean are, it's quite simple, Rem. These are the encouragement to go find a good, nice, happy show. These are
Okay.
how you're going to encourage yourself.
Fair enough. So, Harriet Porber just believed that a better short beat. Be an optimist, make those choices. Raftalia's My Anime Waifu will return in September.
What the fuck? I wanted pessimistic quotes. Why are these trying to give me like, hey, you should try to be optimistic? That's not what I want. Okay, here we go. Pessimism is, in brief, playing the sure game. It is the only view of life in which you can never be disappointed.
I will say, Sean, it seems like instead of pessimistic quotes, you have quotes
About
that have the
pessimism,
word
yeah, no,
pessimism
like-
in them.
Like, what the fuck? Why is that's not what I googled. I am so
Well,
tilted.
depending on what site you went on, that is just how they do that. Next up, we have Pizza Cotton Candy is my waifu.
All right, let's try this. Okay. So it turns out every time I try to find a quote about pessimism, it's like, hey, this is a quote about pessimism. Or it's like, hey, I want to find a quote that's like, hey, you know what? Should I just look up Nietzsche quotes? Maybe I need to just make my life a little easier.
That's probably a better idea.
Yeah. Nietzsche quotes. There we go. I typed NI and it already knew what I wanted. Yeah. So they're all inherently pessimistic because it's Nietzsche. Let's see. Here's a classic. Which does not kill us makes us stronger.
All right, next up, we have Magic Ice Ball.
I'm not upset that you lied to me. I'm upset that from now on I can't believe you.
Next up, we got Demon Ray 13.
It is hard enough to remember my opinions without also remembering my reasons for them.
Then we got My Dear Old Mum.
There's always some madness in love, but there's always some reason in madness. That's weirdly positive for Nietzsche. Interesting.
Nietzsche has, you could describe him as a general optimist, depending on your interpretations of some things.
Yeah.
Next up, we got Charles C. Nussbaum.
You have your way, I have my way. As for the right way, the correct way, and the only way, it does not exist.
Then we move on to Blood Cell, not the white one.
Sometimes people don't want to hear the truth because they don't want their illusions destroyed.
And last but not least, going above and beyond, we have none other than Dylan Hayden.
In heaven, all the interesting people are missing.
All right, there we go. If you want to reach out, whether it's for a comment, question, feedback, or recommendation, you can tweet us at AnimeConPod on Twitter, or send an email over onto animeoutofcontext@gmail.com.
I'm sorry, Rem.
Yeah, see, it ain't so easy.
Once again, thank you all so much for tuning in. We love you all very, very much. And as always, don't fuck your sister.
Do-do-do-do, do-do-do-do. A great way to hide a cult
Is my
would
song.
be then to write a song titled Cult, so that way when people Google your name and the word cult, instead of your membership or leadership of a cult, then they're just gonna see the song, like I just did. With all due respect, shut the fuck up. I'm amazed I can hear these monologues from how far up their own ass they're speaking them.